Why do some men instantly get everyone's attention, while the rest of the men get ignored, unnoticed, no matter how hard they try? It is not that people ignore you because you are not rich, look unattractive, or have bad luck in socializing. Rather, this happens when you fail to become charismatic. You might think that money, luxury, and pretending to be so gentle give you charisma, but it is not what most guys think. There's something far deeper at play, something almost no one talks about. In this video, I'm revealing the hidden reasons most men never develop a real charismatic personality. This is about a rare energy, a presence that makes people want to be near you, listen to you, and follow your lead. If you're tired of being overlooked, ignored, or forgotten, you have to watch this. So stick around, because once you understand all of these wrong beliefs about charisma, your entire social life, and the way people see you, will change forever. And you probably need more videos that give you real knowledge on building a magnetic personality. So hit subscribe and press the bell icon so you never miss your cheat codes. First of all, most men think they know what charisma is. But here's the trap, they mistake it with charm. Look, charm is easy to fake. It's a nice smile, polite manners, and a few clever jokes here and there. That's surface level. It makes people like you for a moment, but it doesn't make them remember you. Charisma, on the other hand, goes much deeper. It's not just about what you say, it's about the energy people feel when you're around. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who didn't say much, yet the whole room took notice of them? That's charisma. That's presence. It is the ability to create an emotional impact without even trying. And this is exactly where most men fail. They stop at charm, hoping it will be enough, never realizing that real magnetism comes from something stronger: your vibe, your energy, your ability to influence how others feel in your presence. Now here's the interesting part. People don't remember charm for long. Charm fades once you walk away. But charisma? It lingers. Long after you've left the room, people still feel something about you. That's why charismatic people are unforgettable, while charming people are replaceable. The problem is, most men never go beyond that first stage. They just learn how to be nice, how to smile, maybe even how to crack a joke, but they don't learn how to radiate energy that makes people stop and pay attention. And here's the truth most men hate to listen to. If you only rely on charm, you'll blend in with every other nice guy out there. But if you unlock charisma, you stand out without even trying. However, that's not easy, as the second reason comes on the path. Most men fail at charisma because they live in their heads instead of their bodies. You know what I mean? You walk into a room and your mind starts racing. What should I say? Am I standing weird? Do I look confident? That constant overthinking kills your natural presence. Charismatic men don't get stuck in that mental loop. They stay grounded, connected, and present in the moment. And here's the key: real charisma shows up in your body, not your thoughts. Strong posture, steady eye contact, and calm, relaxed movements speak louder than 1,000 words. When you hold yourself with ease, people feel it instantly. They sense stability, and that's magnetic. But here's the problem. Most men sabotage themselves without even realizing it. They fidget with their hands, shift their weight nervously, or stiffen up like they're bracing for judgment. That nervous energy spreads, and instead of drawing people in, it pushes them away. Your presence dies when your body and your energy are out of sync. Now, imagine the difference. You walk in with your shoulders back, you take your time when you move, and you actually own the space you're standing in. People notice. You don't even need to speak first. Your body already said, "I belong here." That's charisma in action. So the real question is, are you letting your body broadcast confidence, or are you letting your nerves betray you? Because once you shift from living in your head to living in your body, everything changes. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Charisma isn't just about looking confident. It's also about how you handle other people's energy. That's where the big mistake most men make. The third reason, which silent killer of charisma, is seeking approval. Most men don't even notice they're doing it, but it shows in little and subtle ways. Maybe you laugh too hard at someone's joke, you nod too quickly to agree, or you over-explain yourself just to avoid rejection. But deep down, it's all the same thing. You're chasing validation. And here's the hard truth you might be uncomfortable to hear. The moment people sense you're desperate to be liked, your magnetism dies. Charismatic men play a different game. They don't walk into a room thinking, "I hope everyone likes me." Instead, they flip the script. They make others feel liked. They make people feel noticed, valued, and important. That's why people are drawn to them. It is just not about the charismatic man himself, but rather it's about how he makes everyone else feel. Think about it for a second. Who do you remember more? The guy who kept trying to impress you? Or the one who genuinely listened, looked you in the eye, and made you feel seen? That's the difference. Approval seeking feels needy. Giving approval feels powerful. And here's the twist. When you stop trying to be liked, people usually like you more. Do you know why? Because confidence is magnetic. It tells people that I don't need your validation, but I enjoy your company. That balance creates respect, and respect is the root of true charisma. So the question you should ask yourself isn't, do they like me? But rather, How do I make them feel around me? Once you make that shift, you'll notice how people start leaning toward you instead of away from you. But charisma doesn't stop at approval. It also depends on something profound: your ability to control the emotional vibe of the room. And that's where another mistake most men make. The fourth reason: most men can't control their emotional states. Think about it. When you walk into a room, people can instantly feel your vibe. If you're anxious, you feel tense. If you're bored, they feel drained. And if you're tired, you pull the whole energy of the room down with you. Most men never realize this. They're stuck inside their own mood, and that mood leaks out onto everyone else. However, charismatic men operate differently. They lead emotions instead of being controlled by them. They know how to shift the energy in a room. When they walk in, the vibe lifts. People suddenly feel more alive, more excited, or more at ease. That's real charisma, the ability to influence how others feel simply by the state you choose to embody. Now, here's the tricky part. Most men think they need to fake high energy, but that's not it. It's not about bouncing off the walls or forcing excitement. True charisma comes from emotional leadership, deciding the tone you want to set, and then owning it fully. Calm confidence can be just as magnetic as fiery enthusiasm. Imagine you enter a group that's tense and awkward. Most men blend into that tension. A charismatic man breaks it with a joke, a smile, or just relaxed body language. Instantly, people loosen up. That's the kind of presence people crave. Someone who lifts the atmosphere instead of draining it. So here's the real test. Are you controlling the vibe, or is the vibe controlling you? If you want to be unforgettable, you must learn to lead emotions. And that brings us to another hidden key of charisma: your ability to tell stories that make people hang on to every word. But here's the huge mistake most guys make. The fifth reason is the lack of a strong narrative. Think about the most magnetic people you've met. Chances are, they told stories about their life, their experiences, even small observations, but they told them in a way that made you feel something. Most men, though, speak in facts, explanations, or dry details like, "I went to the gym," which is just boring. This is crucial that facts inform us well, but they don't really move people. Stories create emotion, and emotion is what people remember. Charismatic men know this instinctively. They weave moments into mini dramas, adding humor, tension, or surprise. Even a simple anecdote becomes a magnet because it makes others feel connected to it. That's why people can't help but pay attention. You don't just hear a charismatic man, you experience him. Here's the trap most men fall into. They think charisma is about talking confidently or having interesting opinions, which is a totally wrong belief. Charisma is about creating an emotional journey, where every sentence, every pause, every gesture adds to the story. And when you master that, people lean in, hang under every word, and remember you long after the conversation ends. Now, here's the secret twist. Storytelling doesn't require you to be dramatic or flashy. Even subtle stories work, as long as they carry feeling. Your voice, your timing, your energy, these turn ordinary moments into unforgettable experiences. So ask yourself, are you just sharing facts, or are you creating experiences with your words? Once you shift from speaking to storytelling, your presence transforms. But charisma doesn't stop at stories. Another crucial skill separates the truly magnetic men from the rest: the way they use silence in space. That's where most men fail. The sixth reason most men fail to be charismatic is that they underestimate the power of silence. Although it sounds strange, because we usually think charisma comes from talking, impressing, or keeping the conversation alive, but real magnetism often comes from what you don't say. Charismatic men understand that silence is a tool. It's a way to command attention without a single word. Think about it. Have you ever noticed someone in a room who doesn't rush to fill every pause? Maybe they pause, look around, and just exist in space. People naturally lean in. They feel the weight of that presence. Now compare that to someone who constantly talks, laughs too loudly, or nervously fills every gap. They're forgettable, or worse, exhausting. The problem is, most men are terrified of silence. They think if they're quiet, people will lose interest or judge them. That fear kills charisma instantly. The magnetic man doesn't fear silence. He uses it to his advantage. He lets moments breathe. A pause before answering a question, a slow nod, a moment of observation, all of this makes people listen instead of just hearing. And here's the secret: silence isn't emptiness. It is energy. It is confidence. It shows that you don't need validation from words. People notice it, they feel it, and suddenly, your presence is heavier, stronger, and more memorable. So the real question is, are you talking to fill space, or are you letting your presence speak for itself? Mastering this balance is crucial because charisma isn't just about words or actions. It's about the energy you radiate in every pause. And that energy is deeply connected to one final truth about charisma: your inner confidence, the kind that can't be faked. That's what most guys get wrong. The final reason is that they forget the truth. Charisma is energy, not image. So many guys think they can buy charisma. They dress sharply, get a fancy car, or try to look cool. Sure, Style helps, but it's nothing without the energy behind it. People can tell when you're faking. They can feel it in your tone, your movements, even your posture. And that fake energy, it repels instead of attracts. Charismatic men understand something most men miss. It's what you radiate from the inside that counts. Confidence, calm, intensity. These aren't things you can put on like a suit. They come from within. They come from owning who you are and projecting it outward naturally. That's what makes someone unforgettable. People remember how you made them feel, not what you were wearing or driving. Most men fail because they focus on external proof of charisma instead of cultivating it inside themselves. They want validation, attention, or to look impressive, but all of that is temporary. True charisma comes from being comfortable with yourself, commanding respect without demanding it, and creating presence in every room you enter. Here's the twist. Once you focus on your inner energy, everything else aligns automatically. People notice your calm confidence, your controlled energy, and your presence. Suddenly, your posture, your voice, even your stories carry weight. That's how a man becomes magnetic, without trying, without force. So ask yourself, are you chasing the image of charisma, or are you building the energy that naturally draws people in? Because when you radiate that energy, charisma isn't something you try to have. It's something everyone can feel around you. And now, if you take all 7 of these lessons together, you'll see why most men fail, and exactly how you can break the pattern to become unforgettable. Now you've just seen the real reason most men never become magnetic. They copy the surface of charisma instead of building the source. They confuse charm for depth, live in their heads, beg for approval, let moods run them, speak in facts, not stories, drown pauses with noise, and chase image over inner energy. That's a recipe for being forgettable. But here's the honest truth. Charisma isn't a trick. It's a discipline. It's a set of tiny choices you make every day that add up to an unshakable presence. And the good news? You can practice those choices by watching our other videos. Because what I'm telling you is not just opinions. These come from scientific psychology. If you are truly into upgrading a magnetic personality, hit subscribe, give this video a thumbs up to motivate me to make more videos, and tell me about what you know about charisma in the comments. Thanks for watching.